Okay, what's up guys? Back again. We have our first console gameplay here. I have not touched any console gameplay, but someone told me to do a video over it, so yeah, I'm gonna do some console. I haven't actually watched that much console gameplay. I've watched like a couple of like the very top console players just to see how different the game is, but with some heroes, the gameplay is the same regardless of what console you're on, or what platform you're on. So like, I'd say like Lucio, Mercy, Reinhardt, maybe like Zen, Soldier. There's probably like a couple heroes that you play like probably close to the exact same, and there isn't many differences. So we're gonna be looking at a Lucio gameplay today. I haven't actually done that many Lucio gameplays. I want to do more of them because he's more of my main now that I'm playing Lucio on a team. So we'll talk about it. Skip ahead a bit here. Alright, see if he tabs out again. So I can see this comp, talk about it. Alright, so a couple of things here. Whenever I'm playing with a Mercy specifically, I look to do a couple of different things. I look to see where the Mercy is to begin with, so I can protect her if they have any flankers to boop them away. Second, if she's in a bad position, I always make sure to put myself in a good position to let her be able to jump back to me, because keeping her alive is very important. You're the secondary healer in this team comp, and you need to keep her alive. And third is, you need to be sticking with your tanks, because Mercy usually will be jumping around, and so you need to be able to stick with your tanks to reposition them if they jump on you, using your speed boost and healing them to keep them alive. Alright, so this is pretty standard right here. You usually just all group up here, you just be spamming. If you don't have, so I'm gonna go back here for just a second to talk about this. With Lucio, it's pretty important to keep all your heroes in your aura range so that they can all be applied. And so whenever there's a teammate like this diva over here, she breaks POV, you can literally just jump right here. Usually you'll be able to just jump or just like take like a few steps forward, and you can just pull back again so you can be safe. But you'll hit her with your aura, and even if you break vision for like 2 seconds, you'll have the aura still on her, so you'll have 2 ticks of healing done on the diva without having to be like on her at all times, just having the aura keep ticking on her. So just trying to keep the aura on people. Yeah, dropping there, I mean, there's a couple of different things you could have done. Dropping there is really risky, but as soon as you see the Hog right next to you, you just need to boop him and just try to get away, because Hog's like the bane of Lucio's existence. You try to like wall ride and make plays, and he just hooks you and one-shots you. So you usually have to play like really safe around a Hog, and usually just boop him to misposition him for your team. So you got capped pretty quickly because your team got wiped. You also don't have a main tank on your team. I mean, you have Diva, which is okay, but you don't really have a main tank. So right here, they were all grouped up on the bridge. I definitely would have just speed boosted myself and tried to knock some of them under the bridge, and so it makes it so that you can focus the people on the point already. Because they're getting like shot right here, but if you like misposition them under the bridge right there, you can just like all focus down the Zarya, and then you can chase them afterwards. So that was a bit of a positional mistake there. You saw most of their team got knocked off the bridge, and then you saw them all drop down into that little hole right there, so you needed to know where they were at that current time, and that got you killed. I think as Lucio, the most important thing to do is staying alive and calling. Because if you're alive, applying your aura to all your teammates, you're being the most useful. Making sure you walk around and apply the aura. I don't think you should ever be standing still. I find that on supports, whenever I stand still, a lot of times I will get caught. So just be moving around. You can be jumping on these pillars. It's really easy to wall ride in a circle around them. You just like keep jumping and you can just stay on a pillar for pretty much as long as you want. Makes you way harder to hit as well. Movement's a little bit lacking here. I think whenever you're in this situation, there's nothing really to be looking at over here because the Pharaoh's already flown past, so you want to be looking over at this side, and you also want to be touching the wall over to the right as far as you can, like this wall and then bouncing up onto this wall, because you can peek vision over here and see what's going on. Plus, if there's anyone up here, you can be tagging them with auras much easier. So you just want to like be bouncing on the walls sometimes just to get your aura to tag people, to get vision, and if you see someone there that is threatening you like a roadhog, you just immediately drop and use the cover. Yeah, I would have been looking to speed boost the D.Va back as soon as I saw her out of position that hard. It's stalling though right now. As soon as that Roadhog's up there and they get the kills, I'd be looking to amp heal or amp speed them back, especially because you need help with the Pharaoh right now. You could have sped them back sooner to deal with them. That was good. Trying to help the Roadhog out. You can jump back up top if you need it. It's good. Boop the Ana into your team. That's good. Be sitting on heal. Well, we don't really need to speed anyone here because we aren't engaging. We were all sitting back and healing, so flick to heal when you need to. So there was a Pharaoh shooting above you. I would have peeked up at her and was getting would get free headshots on her because she was channeling her barrage. Let me see how many dead teammates you had so I can judge that sound barrier. So it's 5v6. Or sorry, 6v4 now. 6v4. 6v5. D.Va's at a suit. So it's 6v3 or 5v3 now. They already used barrage. And Pharah isn't going to do much here. She already used her barrage. She's really out of position. Everyone can collapse on her. So the barrier is pretty bad here, especially because it takes you so long to rebuild it. You really need to be careful when you're using it. Making sure you only use it when it's necessary. She blew Grav there. That's really bad for their team, but... And just a random ass barrage from your Pharaoh, okay. Looks like a quality game. Everyone just presses Q because the rest of their teammates did. Definitely should have held that. You want to be at least trading your sound barrier for 1 or 2 ults if you can. Or using it as an engage tool whenever your team is down or you're trying to like pull a fight, but usually only do that on offense. And that's usually desperation if your team isn't going to be able to get kills without using ults. It's alright to mess with the Pharaoh a bit here, but if you get caught, you don't have sound barrier to come back with and defend your team. You also, instead of walking up the side here, let's go back a bit. So your way to get out of this is, okay, you're like, okay, I'm out of position, I need to get back with my team. You walk in the middle of the fire from both teams. Both teams are shooting in this little alleyway, and if they see you drop here, they're gonna auto-focus you. You want it to drop onto this box and come over here and like either swoop around, or you can just wall ride and jump over this wall. But you put yourself in harm's way and immediately get sprayed down by the entire enemy team, which gets you killed instantly. You're lucky your team was able to clean up at least a little bit. Still traded a tick for pretty much you mispositioning. You're pressing tab a decent amount, which is really good. Once you get used to pressing tab and looking at what ults people have, you need to start thinking about what ults the enemies have and what ults your teammates have currently or are about to have, so you can tell them what to combo, because a lot of people just don't know what to combo a lot of times. Just be like, alright, this fight we're going to use D.Va ult to zone them, and then we're going to throw it way far behind them and they're going to run into us, and then we're going to use Barrage to like cut them down as soon as they're running at us. Whenever you walk that close to enemies, you definitely should be trying to melee them. Your melee does 30 damage, and if you're missing shots, then it's good in between each burst of shots. You have to wait to shoot again, so you just shoot, and then you melee, shoot, and then you melee, shoot, and then you melee. If you're hitting your shots, and if you're not hitting your shots, you can just be spamming melee, because you'll actually be doing damage, like booping and then hitting melee. If they aren't getting healed, then you'll just wither them down. So you have sound barrier up. What I like to do is tell my team, alright, whenever blank ult comes in, so like whenever Grav comes in, whenever Genji Blade comes in, I'm going to use sound barrier to defend it. So, or if you have a Mercy, you can say, alright guys, don't use any ults, we'll get white tier, Mercy will res us, and then I'll sound barrier after when we take the fight. So you lose all your health bars, but then you get them all back with res, and then you have sound barrier to keep you safe to win the fight afterwards. That was a good res. Good. Using speed to reposition. I'm not really judging your aim. You're missing a lot of shots on Lucio, which is Lucio a lot of the times, especially in my games, the only way you do get ults is actually hitting people, because your Ana is usually on top of healing and she's using her nano boost all the time, so you don't get as many sound barriers, so you want to be hitting as many shots as you can to actually build your ult back up. But since you have ult, it isn't the end of the world. I'd be telling your team to get back right now, using speed boost to speed them all back. This is a way to throw right here, is getting caught right before they get back. I think your sound barrier was a little early there. Let's go back. I know there's not a long amount of time left, but a lot of people will be able to just like sneak over the wall and touch it, and then these people are able to come in. So you don't see any damage threats on you currently, but someone's already touched, and so these people are able to come in. And now your sound barrier is halfway over by the time Whole Hog is starting to hit. It's actually more than halfway over. And whenever you're starting to take this damage, so sound barrier is up and now you're getting grabbed. So now you don't have any of the barrier protecting you from Graviton. And then they have Genji Nanosword coming in, and he just wipes the team because they didn't have any, you don't have any barrier to protect you from it. This is good. You look to get up on top of the point right here. Just jump around. Make it hard to hit. Make sure you keep your healing aura on your teammates because they're going to be taking a shit ton of damage. Sitting on heal as much as possible here because usually the main healer can't be doing much. Yeah, you should just be wall riding on the top, making it hard to hit, making them try to hit you until they don't hit your teammates on the floor. And then if they don't hit you, then you're still contesting. Not a lot you can do there. That was a good res. Sit on heal, amp heal. Every single time amps off like cooldown, you want to be using it, especially in these situations. That was almost thrown by like a really poorly timed sound barrier, but he ended up stalling it out, so that was alright. Get forward. Good speed boosting. I'd use amp here. I'd be telling my team, alright, I'm gonna amp. Usually don't want to be amp healing in these situations unless you want to take a longer fight, but a lot of times you don't want to be taking a longer fight as Lucio. You just want to be speed boosting your team in and then fighting them. You do have to sit on heal here quite a bit because they're fighting a lot of low teammates. It's good boop. You just want to be controlling the choke here, just spamming it with your primary fire, which you're doing. Could have been on heal there. As soon as amp heal comes off cooldown, whenever you're in these situations where you don't have one of your supports, you can just be spamming it. They had a man down, and they didn't have a Lucio boost to save them, so if you would have just stood at the choke, waited a second, wait till everyone was healed up for Mercy, and then speed boosted in, you probably could have won that fight. Pretty easily, actually. You sat back and like let the Reinhardt build ult. You just have to try to run the enemy team over sometimes. Speed boost your team into the choke. And then after everyone's like full healed up here, speed boost in. You can also try as Lucio to go up top here and try to like boop the Reinhardt to the side so you can actually get a hook in, but you heard tac visor go off and you still went in. You have to wait that out. You have to tell your teammates as well to wait that out. You guys are losing a 5v6. This is pretty bad. 6v5 rather. Because you're just misplaying with positioning. This is good. I'd probably be trying to chase the soldier down, but this is you're stuck in grav. Boop her away as soon as you can. Telling my team what I have right now and what we want to do. Probably just want to push right here because they're going to be missing ults. Just telling your team, alright, we're going to speed boost into the choke. We either use nothing and then we get rezzed and then I'll use sound barrier, or we use sound barrier and then after that's done we'll use res after. Just run in there, you have your sound barrier up, you don't need to worry about taking too much damage. Be swapping to heal immediately. A lot of your teammates were taking damage on the choke and you weren't running at them at that current moment, you were just taking a fight. So there's actually a lot of things that went wrong there. We'll go back. So as Lucio, you want to keep an eye on basically what's all going on. You don't need to be landing your shots, but you at least need to be knowing where people are. So your teammates all being over here, that's fine. You want to be getting up behind this crate and standing up on here to use the aura to protect you. I think, yeah, Mercy gets killed there, but that's not really her fault. The soldier just ran down there randomly and tac visored, so not really her fault. But because your Mercy is now dead, you need to be on heal like pretty much all the time because you don't have the healing to provide. So you want to be using heal. here. You want to be near your teammates. You can be chasing this Mercy, but you want to be near her, and you lose track of her because you're like spinning all over the place looking for her. You just need to like track her, keep your eye on where she is, and then just stay on her. Using amp heal every single time is off cooldown, and then you weren't really looking around. You were putting your back towards where their spawn is, and it's not too surprising you got pinned here. You weren't paying any attention at all because they're going to be coming out this door as well, and so you just get pinned. It's fast forwarding more. Teammates are getting split spawned a lot, so you have to wait. I'd be looking to just taxi them back, right? That there's nothing you can do here. I mean, you can get like a little bit of healing, but you want your teammates to get taxied back to the point, so just like go and speed boost them back from spawn. Because they're going to have to take a long time to walk back, and you don't want to fight before then. You want to make sure you have as much time as possible to get the point. That's good, speed boosting in. This is better tracking on the Mercy, definitely. I think once you get in though, you want to be sitting on heal, because a lot of your teammates are going to be taking a lot of damage, and your speed wasn't making as much use anymore. They were already on the site and they didn't even make use of it anymore, so you sit on heal and you get more value out of it. Because Mercy can't be healing all your teammates whenever they're all on the point taking damage. Telling my team I almost have sound barrier, trying to get it. I would have been sitting on heal there for a much longer time. Didn't get a lot of value out of that sound barrier. Whenever I don't like seeing supports using defensive ults like Lucio ult and Zen ult to keep them alive, when ultimately what happens whenever they have like a chance of getting out, but then they've just wasted 2 minutes or a minute and a half of not having ult. And in a time bank system, you really need to be holding onto your ult as a support, using them as most optimally as you can, because you need to use them to protect your team, not protect yourself. It doesn't matter if you die whenever your whole team is dead. You just need to wait the 20 seconds to get your team back so that you can have ult again, because now you're not going to have ult for a while, maybe not even the rest of the round. Unless it goes into like overtime, where you hit like a lot of shots here. So you're not going to have another sound barrier for a really long time, and it's going to be like really hard on your team now to actually get a push going. Hanzo just farming ult on that Bastion. That was kind of the correct call. I'd definitely be telling the Bastion to try to crossfire him while he was up there. You also just want to just boop him off. It doesn't matter which way you boop him off, you just want to get him out of his position that he already is in. So yeah, from that sound barrier before, you're only at 50%, there's 20 seconds left. You really wanted to have saved that. It would have been really good right now. Hanzo messed up his ult. Just looking to boop him if you can. Be looking to tuck under here, Yeah, that's good. Sitting on heal. You don't want to be peeking out when you're super low, you just want to be sitting on heal and waiting. Yeah, some of these sound barriers and positioning mistakes were what led your team to get a draw, and you could have won definitely if you used sound barrier a bit better. On the first half of the map, you used sound barrier way too early, and then Genji Blade just ripped your team apart from a late grab. I know sometimes people will just be like, okay, the round's over because they have 2 seconds left to cap, but a lot of times when they're doing that final push, they'll have a lot of ults stored up, and so you have to be ready for them to just like all throw all their ults all at once, and so if you would have saved your shield, you probably would have lived, because the grav was about to run off, so speed your team out as soon as the Nano Blade would have came in. So yeah, that was first console game. It was interesting. There was some mistakes, some okay things you did. I think you stuck as your team a lot, which is really good as Lucio, I think. Playing too far forward can get you killed a lot and put your team at a disadvantage. So you play with your team a lot, which is really good. And yeah, just be working on knowing when you want to use sound barrier, so like thinking about it beforehand, not just being like reactive, like, oh shit, I'm getting low, I should just press Q. Being like, okay, Zarya hasn't ulted in like 3 minutes, Genji hasn't ulted in like 2 minutes, I'm going to be saving my sound barrier, so as soon as I hear Zarya using her ult, I'm going to just press Q then, instead of, okay, I haven't heard anything, oh, I already used sound barrier, and then she grabs, and then the sound barrier's already ran out, because you have to use it in like a really small time window. And so you want to be playing like really safe with it, and really